and today I'm going to do some commentary. I've been reading some of the gaming websites and seeing lots of commentary about various issues with Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, and all sorts of bad behavior. Um, just total jerkassery, and I hate having to say jerkassery on the part of some streamers and some gamers. Now, I know I'm a little on the old side, gaming old side. Well, there's gamers older than me, of course. But you see, I grew up before the internet and in the early days of gaming. And, you had to play together in person and playing like sports in person. You learn things like sportsmanship. And that's, I think, one of the things that's missing today from modern gaming. There's not a sense of sportsmanship because it's just an anonymous voice on the other side of a headset, or maybe anonymous words even if you're not even voice chatting. Um, so some people, they don't get an emotional connection to other people, so they don't feel empathy for them. So they go ahead and, as the uh, uh, famous penny arcade comic strip said, the internet, you know, bad boy theory, internet and anonymity, and then it turns into, as the classic word says, shitcock. uh, yeah, yeah. We all have our moments, but I understand nobody's perfect. But we should try to um, be nice and engage in sportsmanship. I mean, everybody lets off a curse word now and then, but not everybody's perfect. Let me give you an example. Um, a few days ago, I was playing in Fortnite, and some people were um, building in ways that weren't really all that optimal. They were building up these low-level walls, which makes it harder for the enemies, the Husts, to reach your traps. You want to make pathways so they hit your traps, and that makes it easier for you because if you try to shoot your way out, as the game gets more and more difficult as you level up, it becomes harder and harder just to shoot your way to victory. So you actually want to make use of your traps. But these fellows, they didn't seem to know that. Now I could, you know, shout at them and use curse words and call them names and use homophobic words or racist words or whatever. But I said, hey, we it works best if we make a pathway for them to reach our traps. Because if they get damaged by our traps, it make it easier for us. And having a pathway helps. And then one guy, he went over to where he built a wall and he made an archway out of it. And then they started coming through and reaching our traps. And I said, yeah, that's right. Good going there. And they didn't talk. Um, that was surprising me. They didn't talk on the headsets, and that worked out better. Another time I was playing Fortnite, and some guys were watching me. I placed down a few traps. I was helping out some low level folk, and placed down a few traps, and basically said, hey, keep behind the traps for the most part. Um, and let the traps damage them. That'll reduce the amount of wear and tear on your guns and save on ammo. And I say keep an eye out. Sometimes they'll sneak around. So just because you place a few traps down doesn't mean they might try to sneak. And having a few traps around your base itself, the objective yourself can help. But you usually want to trap the obvious pathways. And they said, hey, you seem to know a bit about the game. And I said, I played a little bit, but I'm no expert. But these are the sort of things I've seen. And after on, they invited me to talk with them, in a group and a party, and we basically chatted about tips and tricks for low-level folk that I picked up. I made them a few weapons and taught them about the UI a little bit because they didn't know some of the tricks. I mean, the game's tutorial doesn't explain it. It's not that they were stupid or anything; they understood everything practically quite right away. And they said, "Yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense, and yeah, that makes sense that we'd want to do this." And we played a couple missions together, and I complimented them on what they did well, and I told them what I messed up because I did. I said, "Oops, oopsie, I should have put that there because that make it marker for the path and that sort of thing." And said, "Nobody's perfect. Even high levels can make mistakes. So just learn. And if you learn something, tell somebody else. Spread the happiness. Spread the news. And see, that's paying it forward. That's part of being nice." You don't call people's names just because they're casual or new to the game. It takes a while for people to get used to rules and used to how a game is. Like if you plop me in the middle of a Destiny game, if you handed me a copy of Destiny 2 and told me to play it, I'd be totally lost. I'd be like, what is this? But and then I wouldn't want someone, saying blah 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 this or using homophobic language or whatever. It's like, yeah, teach me what I need to know. Uh, And of course, there's different goals. I mean, someone who's like plays one game consistently is going to have different gaming goals than someone who's a casual player. And we can't judge casuals by hardcore standards, and that would not be good. That drives people out of our games. We want people to be welcome gaming, not unwelcome. And some casuals might become hardcore. Some hardcores, maybe they get a new baby. They can't play so much. They become casuals. Yeah, as I've gotten older, in some ways, I play less and I don't finish as many games. Even though I have, get older, you have more money for games. Although I do buy most of my games on sale, and I try to buy a few full price games, like the games I got for Christmas were sale. But yeah, just be nice. Think of others. Try to have some empathy. But think before you open your mouth and you know and say something mean or nasty. Make a fool of yourself. I mean, it's so easy to make a fool of oneself. Done it myself a million times. Sometimes, sometimes sometimes even I have said mean things I shouldn't. Sometimes I've said dumb things I shouldn't have. But if you make a mistake, acknowledge it and apologize and make it sincere. If you do something wrong, the apology should be sincere. Don't try to blow it off and say, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry," and not really mean it. Uh, and then behind it, when you cut off the head, there's man, this guy's such a snowflake or whatever. But no, you be sincere, be nice, play nice, sportsmanship, help out others, pay it forward. All the things your grandma or your parents taught you. Those apply to gaming too. It's think about if you were playing chess with someone. Would you if you beat with someone, would you if you beat someone in chess, would you go over to them and knock them to the ground and crouch over and over on them? No. You'd say, "Congratulations, that gambit you tried was good, but I was able to see ahead a bit and was able to pull off a victory. We can play again sometime," or something like that. You'd shake hands, or if you're playing Monopoly, even at home with friends, you don't really trash talk at Monopoly. You might say, "Ooh, I got you with my boardwalk. I think that'll bankrupt you." Yeah, mad at the game. No, oh, don't worry, you'll get me next time. That sort of thing. Friendly, friendly. Keep it friendly. Keep it nice. Uh, I know some games are more competitive, and people think, "Oh, it's a competitive game. You don't have to be nice." Well, even in competitive games, sportsmanship. And sometimes you're playing competitive games with other people against other people, and you want to work with your team, and a team that cooperates wins. It makes the game easier. I mean, when a team works together, things go smoothly. I'll give you an example of EverQuest Online Adventures, PS2 game. I was in a team. We were trying out a new place I'd never been to. They asked if I wanted an escort, but they were far enough away because I was playing a healer. And they asked if I needed an escort, and I said, "Well, you guys are there. I'll see if I can make my way there." And they said, "You sure?" And I said, "Okay, I'll be careful. I think I'll go up the river because rivers seem to be safer." So I made my way to the camp, and I'd never been there before. And they gave me tips on it. And they said, "Look, if we think this is too, if this is get past your healing ability, you think it's too tough, we can try some other place." And I said, "No, we can try this," and we did. It worked out fairly well. The tank pulled and held aggro, but then we got ads. It was an accident, totally an accident. It's something it wasn't intentional or anything like that. And we got ads, and some of the guys panicked and ran, because that was what they'd learned. And I was trying to tell them, no, trying to type and do the things I need to do, and said, no, no, don't run, just try to kill them as quickly as possible. I can hold them for a little bit. I mean, I could gather the aggro for them on my cleric, and my heals were powerful enough to keep me alive for a short period of time. And if they could kill one quick enough, that would reduce the damage enough that we could kill the others. But I couldn't keep it up long because I would eventually run out of power, and my high level heals would eat up a lot of power very quickly. So and they watched me as they were running away because they were good players. They were wondering what was going on. They said, "Wait, make sure you stayed." And when they came back and I died and they resurrected me, and it was like, could you should we have stayed? I said, yeah, as long as it's not too many, I can hold the aggro and the attention for long. I got some powerful heals. I'll let you know if we should run. He was sure, and I said, "Oh, it's okay if we get ads. A single ad or two isn't going to be a big problem." They said, "Okay," and we cooperated together, and we did. And we got ads again. That was some other team's fault, and I do believe they intentionally got an ad on us, got an additional ad on our tank because they wanted the camp to themselves. And he said, run. No, 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 it's okay. We can do it. Good, sure, okay. We did it, and we had fun. Then they suggested we try a different place that was less popular, and we tried that, and he said it's a little more dangerous. So if you want to, if you think it's too tough or we're dying too much, we can go someplace else. We can try someplace else. But this is less popular. We can try it. I said, yeah, we'll only try. So we made it to this little underground cavern that there were a few other people in, but they were on a different part of the level. So we had this one area basically all to ourselves, and we talked to each other and communicated exactly what was going on. You kept each other updated how much like mana, power, that sort of thing we had. If we were running low on things to boost our attributes like food to heal our power and stuff like that, there was things like that we need to keep track of, and it worked because we communicated. We were nice. We were friendly. We didn't insult each other if we made a mistake because mistakes happen. It's like, oops, brought an extra ad. Not a big deal. It would, if I had said, "Oh, you stupid tank, bleep, 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 bleep," and said things, that wouldn't have been right. But things happen, so you adapt to them. You be friendly, be nice, and we had a great time. We leveled up. We got plenty of. Well, it wasn't the greatest loot, but it was worth quite a bit. We all came out of that one making like a nice little profit, and and it was like, and after after some of us had to leave, it was like, damn, that was a nice session, and it was. It was just simply a nice, easygoing, no stress session. We got things done. We had a lot of fun. And we learned things from each other. That was the same session. An enchanter cast a spell on my cleric called Chaotic Mark, which no enchanter had ever cast on my cleric before. And I said, "What does this do?" He said, trust me, you'll see." And I said, "Okay." And he told me, "Oh, be sure to melee." What? They usually groups don't want me melee. You will want to melee with that spell on. So okay, so I started meleeing it, and all of a sudden I got this additional damage effect, and it was fairly large. And I said, "What the heck?" Because clerics weren't really damage dealers in EverQuest Online Adventures. They said, "What the heck?" Yeah, he said, "Chaotic Mark. It has an additional damage proc to your attacks, but it's based around like charisma or wisdom or something." He wasn't quite sure, and he said because of that, most fighters and tanks and DPS types don't want it, but it works amazingly well on healers. So whenever I do it, I cast it on a healer. And he also noticed I did something for him that most clerics didn't do. I cast my buffs on his golem. And well, he said most don't do it, and most don't know it affects. I said, yeah, it affects the golem. The golem can use additional hit points too. I said, there's this one that doesn't work on golems, so don't worry if the cleric doesn't cast that one, but this one does. And he said, well, thanks. And I said, and don't let a cleric tell you they can't cast the buff on that golem because they can, they should. And then I made up a golem song. Golem, 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 you made it out of clay. Golem, 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 with golem we shall slay. But yeah, that was a great session. I think I was in the high 20s at that time. Anyway, it's an example of being nice and getting along and working together and communicating. And that's one thing I think there isn't enough of when we play games. We don't communicate. I've been in plenty of cooperative games where nobody else talks. Now, I understand that sometimes late at night, and I'm often playing at night because I work overnights and try to keep the same schedule. That if I'm playing it late at night, I might not be chatty because I've gotten overexcited in the night and made noises that have woken people up that were trying to sleep, and that is not a good thing. But it means communicating. and talking and sharing information because that helps us all work together. Like, say, like EverQuest again. If I was running out of uh, potions to heal my mana, it'd be like, tell him, I'm running low. Then if someone has some spares, they can drop them on me. And usually we did keep spares for certain things. I kept a few spares of some food that tanks liked, I think, or was that Final Fantasy? Anyway, I usually kept a few spares of that for tanks, um, and a few other things that might be useful for others that I didn't use a lot. I didn't keep a lot, and some other players would keep things and they'd give them to me. Like there's a group of people knew that I liked. I had some jewelry crafting up really good level for my level, so they'd have me make jewelry for them. And one guy said, "Yeah, I've been passing your name around as a jewelry and armor maker." I said, "Why?" "Because you're the best mid-level jewelry and armor maker I've met." He says, "I told him just give him the materials. It'll make you probably something you can find better than you can find out in the wilderness." Because a lot of those nice drops are rare. But if I could make something good that would serve them until I could get a good drop, that'd be okay. He said, "Yeah, I've been using that one chest plate you made for me for quite a while." I said, "Really? Yeah, best thing I've ever seen. Haven't found anything better yet." So yeah, be nice, share, and help out other people. Pay it forward. That's all it is. Just again, basically the thing is be nice. Don't be you don't want to be you don't want those jerk asses with the goatees that people discover that they make like a racist comment or they beat their girlfriend or whatever, they sexually harass somebody or they did some other really nasty thing or cheated during an online match or something else. No, no, no. Be nice. That makes everything go better. Everybody's happier. Nobody gets stressed out. Everybody has fun. And games are supposed to be fun. Well, thank you for watching. I took a little longer than I thought. Again, digressing on EverQuest, which was a good game, and I miss it. Okay, well, have a good night, everyone. I might do another video about something else. I'm trying to remember what it was, but have a good night. Thank you very much.